Oh, yeah.
And they always do.
They always do.
There's just been so many really, really exceptional shows. So go see that if you get a chance. You might recall last week we had Mariel Craft on the show.
Oh, yeah. Did you go check her out?
We went to Shuba's Thursday night to see her. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God, Scott. I wish you would have been there.
Was it amazing?
You would have loved it. She is a lesbian pop icon in the making. I mean, her songs are...
They are so catchy.
They're catchy. They're so good. Her stage presence, her movement, her singing, her heartfelt lyrics about her life coming out. And, there were lesbians there from far and near. There was a woman that drove from 2 hours away to be there. And she really speaks for, young women in the current world that we live in that are coming out, that are finding their true selves. And it's just... I can't tell you how great it was. I think she is destined for big things.
I think so, too.
I really do.
What is the... I forget the name of the album, like something "No One Will Love You" or "I Will Love You" or something about love. I know. Yeah, but that album is really great. It's fun.
The songs are fantastic. She's a good, and as we talked about, she was a school teacher, an English teacher, a 6th grade English teacher, and she knows how to talk and communicate and command an audience. So she's got all the goods. So. I heard an inkling that they might be bringing her back sooner than later to a bigger venue like Lincoln Hall. So,
oh wow!
Do check out Mariel Craft. She is, and we met her afterwards. Lovely woman, and just excited to see. I can only imagine if I had been 30 years younger and able to see an artist like that.
Coming out and coming out. So fantastic there. I have to do, I don't know if are we going to talk about in this segment about what's happened in my neighborhood this weekend about ICE, or are we going to save that for the 5th segment? Or we can talk about what's going
briefly,
on.
Going from the good to the bad, just blocks away from where we live in Lakeview, our fellow neighbors were tear gassed, and the ICE folks came out in the middle of the day on Friday and were harassed. They jumped a fence grabbed a construction worker. The neighbors came out in force. I didn't see it. I saw pictures and video to help, to take video, to yell at these guys. And they tear gas people. And it's been hitting home anyway because it's in our city. Now it's in our neighborhood. I'm going to try not to cry. We are so upset. A neighbor called me and said they're at a neighborhood park on Wrightwood and Racine. You heard that they were in Old Irving yesterday.
They were up in Andersonville as well.
I mean, they are trying to intimidate. They do not respect the law of the land. This is not the America I ever thought I would be seeing in my lifetime.
Not at all.
And I am just beside myself. And I don't know what we can do is just keep being out there. I carried a whistle. We went on a walk later, and I brought a whistle with me. I'm carrying a whistle because I went down and warned some construction workers on my street that were doing excavating, and that they were Hispanic when I didn't know if they were, but I assumed they might be, and they thanked me profusely, and they closed the construction gate. They were flying low helicopters around our neighborhood looking for construction sites. So this is not our country. This is Germany in the 40s, and then this cannot go on. And I don't know what we can do except keep speaking out, encourage our governor to hold their feet to the fire. I know there's some hearings coming up. They don't seem to care what the courts say, but we have to remain vigilant. We have to remain strong, and there's safety in numbers. So
yeah, there are, and you know what? A great resource is check with your alderman's office, because I know several aldermans are offering training on how to deal with ICE, how to stop, assess the actual physical threat to you and those around you before you take any action. They teach you how to interact, what you should say, what you should not say, how you should behave. There are several. I know Andre Vasquez in the 40th is offering that. I believe Maria Haddon up in Rogers Park is offering.
Bennett is offering it in Lakeview now.
They are.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a thing. Chicago, we are united. We are united against this. They grabbed the night manager from Laugh Factory.
I saw
Friday.
the video. It's horrifying.
It's awful.
I mean, who's next? Us coming to our show? I mean, nothing. There's no guardrails. There's no law. This cannot go on. If you're a Republican or a Democrat, call your Republican representatives, call them, call their offices, tell them this needs to stop.
Yeah.
This is not America. This is not the America we want. We
Yeah,
don't
it
deserve
is. It's crazy. And yeah, folks who are out there who aren't in Chicago, you might not be seeing all of this on the news. You might not be seeing it on social media because thanks to the algorithm and all of that stuff, how things are now being weeded out and people are seeing not a lot of things are being informed. But you need to check in with folks from Chicago people. Keep broadcasting out to the world, to your friends, to your family, to whoever you are, just what's going on here, because a lot of this stuff is not being seen.
Right, and it is our right to tell people what we are experiencing, what we are seeing. I've been having discussions with friends the last couple of days about, the holidays are coming. People say I prefer not to talk politics with my family, my extended family, because politics and religion, we don't go there. But this is different, my friends. Maybe the way you present it is not just saying it's a Republican problem, Democrat or Republican problem, but here's what's going on in our neighborhood, friends and family. This is what our beloved fellow, Americans in many cases, or people in the process of being being fully legal and documented, are being harassed, are being taken up. I said, this is what we're seeing. We can't sleep at night. Just let them form their own conclusions. But, I have, my in-laws are Republicans, and we don't speak. When we go down for our 2-day Christmas holiday, we do not utter a word about politics. I can't be quiet anymore, and I won't be quiet anymore.
This is beyond politics.
It
is just
human
un-American.
rights and un-American and cruel. And so rather than, as I said, couching it politically, tell the stories. As you said, people that don't live here, let them know what's really going on.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are not really understanding how much under siege we are by our own government.
And the worst of the worst? No, that's a lie. It's not the worst of the worst. It's hardworking people in this country that we need, that we care about, that do nothing but work hard to put food on their tables for their families, just like you do.
Yeah, and it's just being indiscriminate. They are not. They don't care. They're not following any of the rules.
It's a goon squad with masks on.
It is a total goon squad that is happening. We do have, Governor Pritzker did sign an executive order on Thursday that was aimed at addressing federal enforcement in Illinois. Yep. He created the Illinois Accountability Commission, which will serve as a permanent record of alleged civil rights abuses by federal agents in Chicago. But basically what he said at a press conference announcing the executive order is that the commission will be charged with 3 core missions. 1, creating a public record of the abuses. 2, capturing the impact on families and communities. And 3, recommending actions to prevent further harm and pursue justice. Now, thanks to a restraining order issued by U.S. District Attorney Judge April Perry, the Trump administration's attempt to deploy National Guard troops in Illinois will remain blocked until either the Supreme Court grants the president's request to allow the troop deployment, or Judge Perry makes a final ruling on the merits of the lawsuit challenging the president's authority to deploy the National Guard. It's a scary time that is happening.
It's a heartbreaking
here right now
and disturbing time for us.
It is, and I don't think people outside of Chicago quite understand the things that you are seeing probably on faux news. Is they're staged, like people throwing tear gas, there's no reason. There was no cause, provoking to deploy tear gas.
So just trying to confront and take video and ask questions.
Video, right. And that's the thing. They want this image of violence, of chaos, of like war-torn hellscape to become pervasive in the media. And that is, that's not the case in the city. But everything that is happening, most things that are happening are being provoked by ICE, by these federal agents who are throwing in. And, what's his face? Bogino or whatever, he's tossing tear gas.
Oh, yeah.
Themselves, like they're just using it as a way to kind of show that, just to create an image.
Yeah. Yes, they're
and they are not. Nothing is provoking it. There's no cause. There is no reason for this action that's happening. So when you're out and about, again, go to your alderman's websites, and I almost guarantee you, every single one of them will have some sort of
they all do
of training that you can go through. Usually it's virtual, online. There are some in-person things that are happening. But if you, again, we talk about when things get too big, think small, go think local, think within your neighborhood. And this is something that you can do. You can go and you can learn about how to protect yourself and your neighbors.
And our alderman, Scott Wagaspak, his office is across from Costco on Clybourne. They are giving out free whistles. So if you feel like you want to go get a whistle just to carry around with you, if you see something, people are really being activists, and it makes me so, I welled up when I saw how many neighbors on the video came out and confronted instantly when this happened on Lakewood and Henderson, very near my house. So we got to remain vigilant. Just keep on keeping on. It's tough. This is really tough times for people. We're all feeling it.
Yeah, we are. It is for real, no joke.
Yeah.
That's going on, of the stuff that's happening here.
Thank God we have happy things to talk about in the next couple segments.
We do.
Need, as we say, we need all the joy we can get right now, and just watch out for one another. This is what makes us who we are. This is our city cares, and we care about each other.
But I also I appreciate that aldermen are giving out free whistles and everything. Again, make sure that you are also receiving some sort of training or getting some information on how to interact with these people. Just because you have a whistle doesn't mean that you should be blowing it because of safety reasons for yourself, for the people around you in the vicinity. So make sure that you are kind of just finding some resources about how to engage, because you can't help if you get taken down.
No.
That's the other thing that we need to be really cognizant of during these times.
Absolutely.
But again, Chicago, I believe in you.
I do too.
Chicago, the queer community in Chicago, I believe in you. Y'all, we have been through stuff together, and we will get through this somehow. It's going to be challenging.
Yeah.
To say the least. But we're going to have, we'll have each other. And the importance of community. So when things get too big, again, think local, go to your neighborhood, contact your alderman, see what you can do to help out in the day-to-day things.
Community has never been more important than it is right now.
That is true. That is true. Well, I guess we should probably take a quick little break here. But before we go, this part of Out Chicago is brought to you by Team Hochberg. If you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Tim called to consolidate his debt and was so happy with David's advice, he left this 5-star Google review. David personally called me regarding my refinance inquiry. After discussing my situation, David determined I'd be better served securing a HELOC instead of refinancing. David then spent considerable time providing valuable guidance and referred me to KCT Credit Union for a HELOC. David's reputation on radio for genuinely helping others, even when there's no direct benefit to him, is well deserved, and I experienced this firsthand. Thank you, David, for your time and integrity. David thanks Tim for his amazing review and strongly encourages everyone to read Team Hochberg's nearly 600 5-star Google reviews. David helped Tim and thousands of WCPT listeners, but it can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit the website you know and love, 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are speaking with queer icon, living legend, the Pope of Trash, John Waters. So please stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT, Heartland Signal.
Around the Town, Chicago, with Al Besloff.
Oh, that's Jan. Okay. That's Jan Chakowski is going to be calling it. So
from Evanston.
yeah. Jen.
Hello.
How did you know the answer to our quiz? Just because you're you, we want to send you something. You're going to get a gift certificate to go to Stacked and Folded in Evanston and have some food.
Thank you. And as long as it's not a bribe, I can accept it.
Sunday afternoons at 1 on WCPT 820.
Experience 2 iconic operas in one unforgettable night at Lyric Opera of Chicago. Cavalleria Rusticana and Pagliacci, November 1st to 23rd. Don't miss world-renowned tenor Russell Thomas as the tormented clown in Pagliacci, in an operatic pairing where passion, betrayal, and raw emotion take center stage. Just 8 performances. Tickets at lyricopera.org.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. We all know the story of Rosa Parks, but she was not the first woman of color to refuse to give up her seat. In 1884, Ida B. Wells was thrown off of a train after refusing to go to the back after buying a first-class ticket. After this incident, Wells began writing articles about the issues of race and politics in the South. Wells's articles also talked about her time being a teacher in a segregated school, which later led to her being fired. Wells later turned her attention to anti-lynching after 3 of her friends were murdered and hung before they could have a trial, even traveling down to the South, risking her own life to get information on lynching, taking her anti-lynching campaign to the White House in 1898, and wouldn't be signed into law until 1918. Wells was a fighter for so many women and people of color. Just a little something to think about when you get off of 290. Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
He prefers the company of men.
Who doesn't?
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Thank you so much for playing that, Tevin. Oh, that made me happy. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller. That little clip was from The Simpsons. That actually guest starred our next guest back in the day. I'm okay. I'm trying to maintain. We'll see if I can do it.
You can do it.
I doubt it, though.
You can.
Look, the self-proclaimed Pope of Trash and King of Camp, John Waters, is going to be in town this Halloween for a special live commentary screening of Serial Mom at the Center for the Performing Arts at Governor State University. And joining us now on the phone is gay icon, living legend, John Waters. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Boy, that's quite a build-up.
Girl,
You
look,
deserve it.
I'm trying to maintain right now because you have affected my life in so many different ways. I just want to say thank you, and I'm resisting the temptation to just like quote you to you right now.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you. I'm so respectable I can puke these days. It's great. Thank you.
Well, look, I mean, a living legend and icon, John Waters, your body of work has shaped the lives of so many people. Like, even this morning, my neighbor was texting me. She's like, please tell him that Crybaby was my gay awakening. And I'm like, okay, I will. Did you
Which is kind of funny because there's no gay characters in Crybaby.
I know. But there's something about, like, your movies, the embracing of camp, the embracing of tacky, the just all-out, just queer counterculture nature. Do you ever feel a responsibility for lifting the voice of the counterculture?
Well, I'm proud of it when people say that, I made them feel okay about themselves. And I wrote a whole book called Role Models about the people that did that for me. Yeah. Everybody needs a bad influence they can look up to.
1,000%. But I got a question for you. Do you think there is a counterculture right now?
Sure. Well, it's very different. I mean, it started out, I made underground movies, and I made midnight movies, and independent movies, and then Hollywood movies, and now Hollywood Underground. So today, and camp, nobody really says that word anymore except older gentlemen in antique shops talking about Rita Hayworth movies. But that became trash, and then that became filth. And I think now it's just American humor, basically, is based on pretty dark subject matter, because maybe that's the healthiest thing we can do when things are terrible, to be able to laugh at it, but first you have to laugh at yourself first, and that's something very, very important, and that's why I've gotten away with it for 50 years.
John, if Serial Mom was made today, for example, what new social crimes would Beverly, the lead character, be punishing?
Well, that's true. Would she be? Because now it's changed. It seems like the Republicans are woke, and they have trigger warnings. So it's gone completely different. I would say that Serial Mom had no real politics. She just didn't like people that screwed with her family or didn't treat people correctly. But people died because they didn't recycle. I think if I was Serial Mom today, it would be she would go after actors that use the word journey.
I love it. That's where we've come to.
Well, look, Serial Mom is one of my all-time faves of yours. I cannot walk past a dry arrangement and not just go, Pussy Willow, every time I walk by.
I noticed today, I just got off a plane, and I've been to 6 cities this week, and I have seen so many violations of people wearing white after Labor Day that it's really hard for me to sit in my seat on the plane without making a citizen's arrest.
Citizen's arrest.
Girl, and Kathleen Turner in this movie, it was, I'm going to say it was the performance of her career. She was just bold and fearless and hilarious.
Yeah, she was perfect for the role. Was it hard convincing?
I think she has gone back. She was so into it as maybe a method actress that she has recently killed 2 critics who wrote mediocre reviews of it years later.
Good for her. Was it easy to convince her to be a suburban serial killer?
No, it wasn't hard. She read the script. I went up there and talked to her, and excuse me, I've got a cold, as you can hear. And she just went for it, and I think she took chances. She took chances a lot in her career, and so I think that she just wanted a director who knew what he wanted, and we're still friends to this day.
She was so fantastic in it. I think
she's absolutely great in it. Great in it. It's my best movie. It is my best movie.
And I think she said it was one of her favorite roles somewhere. I read. Yeah.
She was such a pro to work with, and a lot of people said, "Oh, she's going to be so difficult and everything." She wasn't one bit difficult. I got along with her great. She would have been difficult if I had said, "I don't know, Kathleen, what do you think?" They want you to direct them,
right. So what is your process when you're directing a film? Is it like how much guidance do you give, or do you just let the actors do their thing?
Well, no, I don't. Let's just say I just released 6 of my screenplay books just came out, and this week I just did the audio version, and I play every single character in every movie.
Okay, so you might be a little bit of a control freak with that.
Yeah, I have rehearsals, say the script. I hate it when actors say, first thing I do is throw out the script. Oh, really? Then join the Writers Guild. Say the words.
Well, yeah, I never understand that, because it's like the only reason the project is there is because of the idea that came into your head. How did this, was it just because you are going to be here at the at Governor State University on Halloween? You're going to be doing a live commentary of the screening. Was it just like a product of the time of the early 90s that you're like, all right?
Well, I think it was a little ahead of its time, because the movie was before OJ, and there are scenes in it that are exactly like the OJ trial. I think I always had true crime was always important. There's a trial scene in many of my movies. I used to go to famous trials. That's what I did as a hobby. So I think I love trial scenes in movies. So it was my parody of a true crime movie before true crime had become quite as popular as it is today.
Yeah, one of the great things about your films, when you start, your entire body of work is just filled with such incredible characters and actors and performers. And you started out making 8mm with your friends, and over your career, you've almost taken like a repertory company approach to casting your films. I mean, because of you, we got Divine,
Ricky
Mink
Lake.
Stoll. I mean, I cannot get Mink
And
Stoll.
then even when I had movie stars, when I worked with Kathleen Turner, Mink has a great performance in Serial Mom. So I worked with the people that I started out with and then mixed Hollywood movie stars with them too. And that was the thing. Are they going to get along with us? Are they going to come along for the ride? And they did. And they respected what we had done in the past. They didn't try to change it. I can always just tell it was when you have a quote meeting, movie stars don't read for you, but they're looking at me thinking, is he going to ruin my career? And I'm looking at them thinking, is this person going to be able to get through 2 months with us in Baltimore? And then when we both realize that we can, then that's when I hire them.
Yeah, I love that.
How long did it take to make the film, John?
That was the biggest budget I ever had. I forget how much it was, $12 million or something, which would be way more than that today. I'm not sure exactly, but maybe at least 2 months. I mean, we had for the first time enough money to make a movie.
Yeah.
It was the only time, really. Yeah.
No, it showed. I watched it last night, and I just loved every minute of it. I was laughing. It was just
Well, thank you. It is my best movie, I think, and there's just little lines in it that still to this day about people hating the brown word, and just little things. And my mother even loved Serial Mom, and believe me, she didn't love all the rest of it.
I'm sure. What do you think? Why do you think people love to laugh at subjects that are taboo or transgressive subjects?
Well, because they can't change things, and sometimes when things are so terrible, that's what you do. You make people laugh. They'll listen. You change your mind, and then if you're lucky, you have sex with them.
Yes.
Were there any drawbacks of working with your friends so closely?
Well, no. I mean, they weren't. I mean, Edith Massey was not a trained actress, but she certainly was one of my most popular stars I ever worked with. And she was what I would call an outsider comedian. Mm-hmm. I mean, but at the same time, even Andy Warhol said to me, where'd you find her? So, no, there wasn't any bad side to it, actually.
Well, tell me about your relationship with Patty Hearst. I know you had her in a couple of films, and when she's sitting in that jury box, I'm just riveted by her expressions. Tell me how you got to...
It was good. Well, I went to her trial, and when I finally met her and told her that, she said, "Great, there's people like you is why I went to prison." And I met her in the Cannes Film Festival when she was promoting the movie Patty that Paul Schrader moved when he bought her book. So, but I'll tell you a great Patty Hearst story that happened 2 weeks ago. I went to the Hearst Castle to a giant fundraiser for the upkeep of the Hearst Castle, and it was very expensive. It was a black tie event, and Patricia Hearst was the guest of honor. And she's my dear friend. We've remained friends. And so I'm at the head table with her, and there's this other gentleman at the table, and I said, "How do you know Patricia?" And he said, "Well, she robbed the bank we owned."
Oh, my God. I love it.
He really did. He really did. He paid $5,000 to have dinner with the bank. They forced her to rob. What she said was telling the truth.
Right.
But still, it just goes to show how things change and how things can change over the years.
That is a great story, John. Thank you for sharing that.
That is
even I was startled at that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's people forgive and forget, so that's good.
There we go. Yeah. So folks, younger folks out there who might not be as familiar with your oeuvre, with the canon.
Well, let me tell you something. I just did 6 shows this week, and in many different cities, and there were plenty of people that weren't even born when I made my last movie in the audience. So I'm lucky. The young people have continued to discover me, and that's the only thing. The only thing you can't buy.
Yeah, is there an order of your films that you would recommend for people who want to do a deep dive of John Waters?
Well, it depends how old they are.
Right.
I mean, if they're timid, Hairspray. If they're outlaws, Female Trouble.
Mm-hmm. Well, we all want to grab our cha-cha heels. We all need them.
Well, even drag queens get cha-cha heels wrong. They're not spike heels, cha-cha heels. Cha-cha heels are short, squat heels.
Yes, and they're very comfortable and ladylike, and I wanted cha-cha heels. But look, do you have, before we let you go, do you have any advice for us going through these rather trying times right now?
Well, the problem is you can't embarrass the people that we're against. So I mean, they ruin bad taste forever. So I think we just have to come up with a new way to take photographs of him that makes him so insane his head explodes.
I love it.
There we go. Well, I'm on board for that. And everybody out there in Chicago and beyond, grab your cha-cha heels and head to the Center for Performing Arts at Governor State University on October 31st for John Waters, a live director's commentary and screening of Serial Mom. For tickets, you can go to govst.edu/John Waters. Just don't wear white. It is way after
Do not
Labor
wear
Day.
white. You will not ever leave the theater if you do.
You could wear winter white. That's wool. Johnny Mathis made a career out of wearing winter white.
In a bit of a cream shade, too. A little off-white.
Well, yeah, but winter white is wool. White wool is all right.
That's right. Okay.
There we
I'm
are.
with you.
Grab your white wool and grab your pussy willows and head on over.
Pussy willows.
Pussy willows. John Waters, thank you for taking
Thank you,
time out
John.
today to join us, and thank you for letting your freak flag fly for so many years.
Thank you.
We love you.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. We are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to be speaking with the brand new executive director of GenderCool, Chase Glenn. So stick around. You are listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
The Sports Cubicle.
Commissioner of the American Association of Professional Baseball, Joshua Schaub.
So our players are not playing to develop to make it to the major leagues. They play for the name on the front of their jersey. They play for each other and they play to win. So the style of baseball is completely different. They're literally trying to get guys out. They're literally trying to move runners over. They're trying to win the game. So I just want to note that difference as well.
The Sports Cubicle, Sunday nights, 9 p.m. on WCPT.
You know that you can listen to Chicago's Progressive Talk on WCPT AM 820. Stream us live at WCPT820.com and on the TuneIn Radio app. Or you can ask Alexa, Siri, or Google to play WCPT from TuneIn. But now you have another option. We're simulcasting our programming overnight. 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. on WSBC AM 1240 for a clearer reception in and around the city. Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820. And now overnights on WSBC 1240 AM, where facts matter.
Driving, it's just better in a Porsche. Find yours at the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. Browse and test drive our extensive selection, like the 2025 Porsche Cayenne. And right now, lease the 2025 Macan for only $949 a month for 39 months. Discover performance like no other at the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park or PorscheExchange.com. $7,469 due at signing. Excludes tax, title, license, and dock fee. No security deposit required. Expires 10/31/25.
If you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Corey called to consolidate his debt and was so happy with my advice, he left me this 5-star Google review. Quote, I was looking to pay off debt, so I reached out to David after listening to his radio show. David called me personally and walked me through my options. He shot it straight. There was no beating around the bush or pushing me to sign anything. If any of my family or friends need anything related to a mortgage, I'll give them David's number because you can't get better or more honest service. Thanks, Corey. I strongly encourage everyone to check out our close to 600 5-star Google reviews from listeners like Corey. Team Hochberg helped Corey and thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, MLS 1124061.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
Hey, this is Kathy Richardson, America's sweetheart from Jefferson Starship, and you're listening to Out Chicago.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller, rolling along. Mm-hmm. Oh, and hey, tomorrow on Live, Local, and Progressive, Joan Esposito will be joined by Rick Smith, host of The Rick Smith Show, weeknights from 7 to 8 p.m. Central on WCPT. That's Live, Local, and Progressive, weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Central on WCPT 820 a.m., heartlandsignal.com, and tune in. And while we're talking about Joan Esposito, Give 'Em Hell, Harry, written by Samuel Galou, 2 is a faithful and often humorous portrayal of President Harry S. Truman's life and presidency. It spans his childhood, his political apprenticeship as a judge in Jackson County, Missouri, his years in the Senate, and his 2 terms as president. And on Friday, November 7th, President Truman comes back to life at North Shore Center for Performing Arts, and you can meet WCPT's very own Joan Esposito. Tickets are still available at northshorecenter.org, but we are giving away a pair of tickets right now to caller number 3 at 773-763-9278. The number again is 773-763-9278. You can win a pair of tickets to go see Give 'Em Hell, Harry, Friday, November 7th at the North Shore Center for North Shore, I can't talk right now.
Center
for Performing
Arts.
And you can meet our very own Jen Esposito. Just a reminder, contests running on WCPT 820 are open to listeners 18 or older and residents of the greater Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana area. 1 entry per person, 1 winner per household. Void where prohibited by law. Listeners may only win or qualify to win once every 30 days. Complete rules are available on our website at WCPT820.com by clicking the contest tab. There we go. We got that out of the way. It's very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited. The show is just filled with so many fun people and amazing people who are doing incredible work. And we are huge fans of the GenderCool Project here on the show. And there are big things going on over there. Joining us now is the brand new executive director of the GenderCool Project, Chase Glenn. Chase, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me today.
Thank you so much. It was so lovely to meet you face to face at the Windy City Times 40th anniversary celebration. I'm glad that you are here in Chicago now. What has been your journey leading up to becoming the brand new executive director of the GenderCool Project?
Yeah, thanks again for having me and giving me the chance to talk about GenderCool, and being such great supporters of the organization. So my background is I was born in a small town in southern Illinois. So my family's recent move back to Illinois is a bit of a coming home. I'm a trans man who grew up in a small conservative town in a pretty religious family, and this was back in the 70s and 80s when we didn't have the internet. We didn't have, necessarily a whole lot of support even for trans folks. And where I grew up, I didn't think I knew anyone who was trans, didn't hear any stories about trans folks. And so my upbringing really just, as I was able to discover who I was, just set me up for sort of understanding the importance of the support and the stories that organizations like GenderCool tell. My recent move, I just moved here to the Chicagoland area from Charleston, South Carolina, where I was there for 20 years and most recently was the executive director of an equality organization, statewide equality org in South Carolina. So excited to be back in Illinois, to have my family here, my wife, and we're raising 2 little kids, and excited to be working with GenderCool.
So aside from the, of course, the GenderCool Project is an incredible organization. We've been big supporters of them from the get-go. An incredible group of folks that are there. Aside from, of course, having that as a lure to come back to Illinois, were there any other reasons of getting out of South Carolina to come to Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, well, again, family, of course.
Family, yes, of course.
Is a lure. Family is getting back closer to the families that we both, my wife and I both have here is, of course, a draw. But, South Carolina was a really wonderful place to live for 20 years, but also had become, I'll just say, increasingly hostile towards trans folks, to be honest. And so this was an opportunity for us to sort of take the next step as our family. We didn't necessarily see the life that we wanted to build for ourselves there. And Illinois is an incredible state with an incredible governor who is so vocally supportive of trans folks. Governor Pritzker is a real light and a beacon for the trans community, and so supportive. And so it was exciting for us to think about returning to Illinois, where we knew we would feel so supported and would have the rights that all trans folks deserve.
Absolutely. Chase, I understand you grew up in a conservative, more religious influenced environment. How did the early part of your life shape how you view things like gender and identity and community today?
Yeah. Well, so much of it is, and this is, I feel like, a universal sort of thing that isn't necessarily specific to trans identity, but it's the fact that, especially in our formative years growing up, if we don't have examples of the people that, sort of reference points for who we are, what we can become, what we feel like is possible, sometimes it's really hard to imagine that future for ourselves, right? And that's not just about being trans. That could be, a career decision, that could be identity related, but for me, I just didn't have those reference points for people who were trans, who were successful, who were happy, who were living fulfilled lives, who were able to have families, who were able to have joy-filled lives. I just didn't have any sort of reference point for that. And so for me, it was when I first started to be able to see people who were living these fulfilled lives, who were, happy and successful, that for me was like, oh, wait, okay, there's a place for me out there in this world. And I think that's one of the things that GenderCool is able to do, right? We have these young people, our champions, who are living very full lives, who are luckily have support from their families, and are able to be that light and show and tell those stories that, trans folks are out here. We are, we are able to be successful and thriving and have joy. And that's such a great touch point. It's something that's really needed right now in particular, because that's not, there are a lot of other stories being told about trans people that aren't necessarily told by trans people. So that's, that kind of shines a little light, I think, on sort of my upbringing, my lived experience, and how that I see that connecting with what I'm doing today.
Yeah, well, and GenderCool Project from the get-go was about telling the stories, as you were saying, about telling these incredible young people who are doing incredible things. And I believe Jen Grosshandler, who is one of the founders of the organization, has been like, being trans is the least interesting part of who these young people are. They are just an incredible group of people. I mean, y'all have been invited to the White House, I believe. Wasn't someone a guest of Dr. Jill Biden for the State of the Union one year, like during the Biden presidency? It really is an incredible organization out there getting the work, spreading the word about trans and queer joy. And that I couldn't think of something more joyful than going to celebrate and having a big event. So on November 12th, y'all are doing Together We Thrive, an evening with GenderCool. What is in store for that night?
Yeah, well, we are so excited. I appreciate you bringing it up. We're excited to have a celebration of the work that GenderCool has been doing and continues to do. We're also just excited to be able to bring together the people who have been so supportive of our organization, people who are, new to us, as well as our longtime supporters. Of course, our co-founders, you mentioned Jen Grosshandler and John Grosshandler, Gira Goldstein, like people who have been in this work for so many years. And also be able to celebrate some of our, we're giving away our first Ally of the Year award. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but it's a pretty exciting person that we're hopeful you'll to join us. But it's going to be a moment, I believe, of hope and inspiration in this moment where that's really needed so deeply right now. The trans community is under attack. in so many ways, and we think this is a great opportunity to bring folks together here in Chicago and really celebrate the fact that Chicago is lighting the way, Illinois is lighting the way in trans rights and trans support and trans joy, as you said, and we want to be a part of continuing that work with GenderCool, and so we're just excited to bring together that energy on November 12th, and we would love for anyone who wants to feel that or support that to be able to join us.
So, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a fabulous night, but I mean, let's get down to the nitty gritty. What's like? I mean, we've got nibbles, we've got drinks, we've got folks, fabulous folks that are reunited. Like, what is the program for the evening to give us the hard sell?
Yeah, the hard sell. Oh, gosh, I didn't give you the hard sell already. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. There's food, there's drinks, there's lots of chance to mingle and connect with folks. And then, yes, we will have our program where we will have some of our champions on hand who will be sharing some of their stories. We will have opportunities, again, to hopefully see in person our Ally of the Year award recipient, which we're super excited about. I'll be able to talk, and that's probably the least interesting part of it.
I doubt that.
As the new executive director, share some of my vision and hope for the organization. We also have nationally known and recently named Out 100 award winner Dana Goldberg hosting the event that evening, and
we love Dana.
Bringing lots of fun, I'm sure, and lots of laughs, and will be helping us raise money, because ultimately that is the goal of the event, is to raise much needed funds for GenderCool to be able to continue our work. Because as I'm sure you know, I mean, right now, progressive organizations and specifically LGBTQ plus organizations are really, nonprofits are really feeling the pinch right now, whether it is because they're being targeted for the type of work that they're doing in the community, or just in general experiencing, some of the struggles we're having with, fundraising and raising support. This is a time where we need that support more than ever. And so we're going to come together and raise hopefully a lot of money for GenderCool to be able to continue on.
Yeah. Well, Chase, I mean, you've been in Chicago for all of, 2 seconds already. But, you are a rising leader within the LGBTQ community here in Chicago. How can we as a community rise up to meet this moment to help do the work?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just want to stop and say, when you and I had a chance to meet face-to-face at the Windy City Times 40th anniversary event, that was such an incredible event, and one of the first for me to be out and meeting people out in the area, and just such, for me, so appropriate, because it, Windy City Times has been telling the stories of our community for 40 years, and how that connects so, directly, I think, to what GenderCool is doing. And I would say, one of the ways, and this is super basic, right? But it's showing up for our community, whether that is physically showing up and supporting at events like we're hosting on November 12th. You see how I just worked that in there?
That was really good.
Or just showing up in ways that we need our allies to show up right now. And that could be anything from, conversations with your family, conversation with your friends, where maybe you're hearing people who are spreading misinformation or saying things that aren't accurate, like just showing up for us by standing up for us in those spaces. And that social media is what it is. There's a lot of positives and there can be negatives, but there's a lot of opportunity for people to show up for us and stand up for us in social media also. But I would say ultimately, find a place. If you want to give back, if you want to support our community, find a local organization, a locally based organization where you can plug in. And I would love for that to be GenderCool. I would love for you to make sure you follow us on our socials and, get added to our newsletter and stay connected to us and learn the different ways that you can show up for us throughout the year. But if it's not GenderCool, maybe it is GenderCool, but also just look for those other organizations, whether it's Center on Halstead or Equality Illinois or, any of the other number of, local and regional LGBTQ organizations where there are lots of opportunities to plug in and support the work. Like, put action behind your words is my biggest hope for everyone, because in my experience, when I've, taken a step out beyond just, saying that I support and actually acting and doing, the secret here is that you actually receive just as much or more from those actions than you do in just in what you're giving. Right?
Amen to that. Amen to that. Well, I couldn't think of a better way to take action and have a fabulous time and to see the mystery date that is the Alloy of the Year. Open the door to your mystery date. I love it. So we want to make sure that you get your tickets for Together We Thrive, an evening with GenderCool on November 12th by visiting gendercoolevents.org. Chase, Glenn, again, thank you so much for taking time out to join us today, and congratulations on the new gig. Chicago is much better off with you all in here. Y'all here.
To Chicago. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being able to join you today.
Us too.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
We have got to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the second hour about Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
The Lightning Strike Radio Show. The important thing that we have to remember is this, folks, that if we don't hold our elected officials accountable, both on the right and the left, it's like when Trump was addressing the economic club in New York. It is astonishing. And they were clapping whenever he opened his flap, okay? Sundays at 9 a.m. on WCPT 820 a.m.
You know that you can listen to Chicago's Progressive Talk on WCPT AM 820. Stream us live at WCPT820.com and on the TuneIn Radio app. Or you can ask Alexa, Siri, or Google to play WCPT from TuneIn. But now you have another option. We're simulcasting our programming overnights. 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. on WSBC AM 1240 for a clearer reception in and around the city. Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820. And now overnights on WSBC 1240 AM, where facts matter.
This is WCPT telling you how you can shop blue. The NFL season is back, and I wanted to be here are the teams that support the Democratic Party, but yikes. As in 2024, NFL donations to Republicans skyrocketed 7 times more from the 2020 election. And the biggest Republican donor was the Walton family. Not only do they own Walmart, they own the Denver Broncos. 83% of NFL's donations went to Republicans. So let's talk about that 17% that didn't. The Atlanta Falcons. Arthur Blank, he was the largest NFL donor to the Democratic Party, donating $1.3 million to Kamala Harris's 2024 campaign. And Arthur J. Rooney, the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, also donated to Democrat politicians in 2024. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers donated $3.2 million to Democrats in 2024. And the Minnesota Vikings donated $32,000 to Democrats in 2024. MAGA's still mad about the male cheerleaders now?
Tune into the Tom Hartman radio program, your home for news, opinion, and insight, right here on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. President Trump is in Malaysia, where he kicked off his trip to the Far East by presiding over the signing of a ceasefire agreement between Thailand and Cambodia. Here's Jim Forbes.
Fighting broke out between Cambodia and Thailand back in July after a border conflict escalated. After 5 days of fighting, the two countries brokered a truce, which led to this weekend's agreement.
This is a momentous day for all of the people of Southeast Asia as we sign a historic agreement to end the military conflict between Cambodia and Thailand.
President Trump stood beside the two nations' leaders as he made the announcement Sunday at an economic summit. Leaders from across Southeast Asia are in Malaysia for the summit. Trump will also visit Japan and South Korea during his Asian trip.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says a framework has been reached for trade talks between the U.S. and China. Appearing on NBC's Meet the Press, Bessent said the framework could help avert hefty tariffs on imported Chinese goods threatened by President Trump.
President Trump gave me a great deal of negotiating leverage with the threat of the 100% tariffs on November 1st, and I believe we've reached a very substantial framework that will avoid that and allow us to discuss many other things with the Chinese.
Trump is scheduled to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping in South Korea this week. French police have taken 2 men into custody in connection with the jewel heist at the Louvre Museum in Paris. Officials say one of the men was arrested on Saturday evening while trying to leave the country. The suspects are believed to have made off with $100 million worth of jewels from the museum last weekend. French President Emmanuel Macron called the robbery an attack on France's heritage. The museum reopened to the public last week. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Tired of all those talking heads down the dial who think they're always right?
People need to just calm down. It's gotten ridiculous.
Welcome to WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Quite frankly, I get most of my news from you.
This is WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
The Hal Sparks radio program.
We wouldn't even have Tesla if it wasn't for Barack Obama. Obama insisted that there be funding for electric car companies in the rescue package in 2009. And Tesla was the single biggest beneficiary of it because they were further ahead, because Elon Musk had bought Tesla as a company outright and was pretending to run it, as he does right now.
Hal Sparks, Saturdays from 11 to 1 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And welcome back to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller.
Yes, we are.
Rolling along. Hey, we've gotten some remarks from the Credo phone and mobile phone and text
Bring it
line. We have somebody calling, I think it's Diane. No, it's Sarah. Yeah, Sarah from out in the burbs called. She's like, the John Waters interview was fantastic. Thanks. Kudos. I'm like, it was great. It's so exciting.
Yeah, it was
there
awesome.
We are. We have a fantastic second hour lined up for you. A little bit later on this hour, we're going to be speaking with folks from Fleetwood-Jourdain Theatre, kind of an institution in Evanston. Mm-hmm. They are getting ready to open the world premiere of the Baldwin Giovanni Experience. It's a theatrical presentation of literary giants James Baldwin and Nikki Giovanni, and we're really, really excited about having them on. Also this week on Choose Views, Richard Chu's guests will include Stacey Davis Gates, Miles Taylor, comedian Dana Goldberg, who's going to be hosting the night with GenderCool Project, apparently. Mm-hmm. Love that. And historian Michelle Duster. Choose Views weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. Central on WCPT 820 a.m., the Heartland Signal website, TuneIn, YouTube, and Facebook.
I want to give a little shout out to our friends at the Artemis Singers.
Oh,
Chicago's lesbian feminist chorus. They are going to be holding a fundraiser karaoke party this on Friday, November 7th, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Whiskey Girl Tavern. That is a fun bar in the Edgewater neighborhood, I believe it is, 6318 North Clark Street. You can visit www.artemissingers.org for complete information. You know, they are a nonprofit group, and they are raising funds to support hosting the 2026 Sisters Singers Network, which is a choral festival in Chicago in July. And if you can't attend the November 7th karaoke party, you can still donate. Tickets are starting at $30. People of all genders are welcome. All ages are welcome. And Whiskey Girl Tavern, the event ends at 9 p.m. And that, again, is a week from Friday, November 7th. Let's support this great cause out there doing.
They're
doing
great,
good
and
stuff.
they are growing exponentially.
They are.
As the Artemis Singers, I run into people all the time at the snack factory. They're wearing shirts, and I'm like, hey. I know you.
We love you
I know
guys.
you. We love you guys. What's going on? We are having a little bit of technical difficulties trying to get a hold of our guest for the top of the hour, but soon we will hopefully have our friends on from Season of Concern. They are getting ready to host a one-night-only event, Blacklisted Songs McCarthy Didn't Want You to Hear. So hopefully we will be able to straighten all of that
Because
out.
I want to hear those songs, what those songs are.
Right?
I'm sure we could have that same problem today. But
Well, that's the thing. Like, it just feels like free speech. Everyone keeps screaming about free speech from, the other side, but they sure just want to make sure they control the message about everything right now.
That's so true.
Look, this is pause, reset. So, October is LGBTQ History Month, and you wouldn't necessarily think of LGBTQ history and the White House, the actual building, really being like a part of the LGBTQ history.
You wouldn't.
However, look, here's the thing that I discovered this week, and there's a great article on Advocate talking about the long history of the East Wing, which, girl, that watching that has just been heart-wrenching and heart-crushing.
I think that crosses all political lines, too.
Yeah.
I think he's really managed to offend everybody on this one.
But the thing that's also just very confusing to me is, like, why would... There are people who still support him, and I'm like, he's building a ballroom while the government is shut down. We're getting rid of SNAP benefits. People aren't getting paid. There are random anonymous donors giving money to pay for the military, but not for the other federal workers that are furloughed. What's going on?
But I heard on the way in, as a matter of fact, some Republican, I didn't catch his name because I was switching back and forth, but was defending it by saying it doesn't. Yes, you might think it looks bad, but it's not. He's not using taxpayer money. He's just.
We don't know that.
Well, of course, and we don't believe it.
And we don't believe
comes
it.
out of his mouth.
Yeah.
But what's wrong with having a fabulous place to entertain the dignitaries from all over the world? He's going to leave us a fabulous gift. It's all this BS is what it is. But you're right. That was the women. That's where the women.
That is where I was finding out that's where the first ladies really, that is where they kind of had their offices.
Yes.
And in terms of LGBTQ history, on March 6th, 1933, 2 days after her husband's inauguration, Eleanor Roosevelt held a press conference in the East Wings, and when she decided to hold the event, the very first press conference by a first lady, and she held it at the suggestion of journalist Lorena Hickok, her great friend and probably her lesbian lover.
Yes.
What's going on there? We don't know what's going on, but there was definitely, from all accounts, there definitely was a loving relationship between these two women. But that day, the press conference was groundbreaking in other ways as well. All 30 reporters attending it were women, and Eleanor Roosevelt had insisted that only women could cover her event. In 1933. How amazing is that?
Well, and she was doing everything she could to amplify the voices of women, and because back then, even they want to do it to us again. They want to shut us down. It's part of the Project 2025 extravaganza. But she really felt the need for women to take a bigger role, and she was at the forefront of it. We have a lot to thank Eleanor Roosevelt for.
We really do. Part of her mission was she sought to make women a part of the national political audience and inspired many women to stay informed and get involved. And the East Wing it kind of evolved into the office for the First Lady. I mean, there were so many things that happened there. You had civil rights advocates marched outside the wing in the 1960s to get Lady Bird Johnson's attention. In the 70s, Betty Ford argued to increase pay for her staff in the East Wing. Laura Bush started her literary campaign there. Same with Michelle Obama with her Let's Move public health initiative. And now it's all kind of crumbled.
Yeah, since there isn't a first lady that lives in the White House, it's not exactly top of mind for the first lady to have a special space there.
No, well, I mean, does she live in the White House?
No, she's never there. From
She's
what
never
I hear,
there. I don't
no,
know.
no.
I mean,
so it's not even there's not a woman's voice, is what I'm saying. There isn't a woman's.
Well, even if there was a woman's voice there, how much would it be heard?
Yeah, it wouldn't be her.
That's the thing, and we have to again. The theme that's kind of slowly developing throughout the show is telling the stories and making sure that stories are told and heard and remembered. I've said this countless times, and I guess it bears worth repeating during these very, very challenging times when people are trying to control information. History is told by the victors, and we have to make sure that we keep these stories alive, that these moments of history alive and present, because that's the only way that we can continue to try to make change.
Indeed.
Going on.
I think the tearing down of the East Wing and watching the destruction is so emblematic of what people are feeling.
Girl,
in this
you
country.
could not get a more on the nosy metaphor than him literally ripping down the White House.
I mean, and doing it with no regard for anything or anybody but himself.
Mm-hmm. He's a bad man.
He's a very bad man.
He is a bad man. I'm not talking about somebody who makes bad choices.
He's a nasty man.
He is a nasty man. He's rotten. He is. Mm-hmm. That is what one of Jerry's friends. He's rotten. A New Yorker. She would always just call him. He's just rotten to the core. And that's part of the thing that's been very. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know how people can support him. I don't know how people follow him. I don't get it. He is not looking out for America.
And I think, Scott, not enough people, but I've been having these discussions. I put a little Facebook post up about, are you talking? What are you doing with your Republican friends and acquaintances and family members? And I got 1 million responses. A lot of them said they're being silent right now. And others said, yeah, I have a couple that have come to me and said, wow, this isn't what they had in mind. The polls are showing the tide is turning on him. But, until the Republicans that we elected in this country speak up and speak out about what they are allowing to happen, we are nowhere, But we've got to put pressure on these lawmakers to stand up to him. It's like a mob boss, and anybody that's participated is already in. So they kind of feel like if I get out, I'm going to get killed in some, metaphorically.
Okay.
Not
I'm
physically.
like, whoa.
No, metaphorically. My career, I'm going to be canceled, whatever. And we have to keep pressing on these Republicans to. Somebody's going to be brave, and I think they would benefit from it in huge ways. Why is their power so more important than the will of the people? Because the will of the people in this country right now is not on his side.
It's true.
The majority is not on his side.
It's true.
And we still have a democracy. Last I checked, even though it's every day
But right now we don't. We have effectively lost the Congress.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been out for a month now. We have new representatives who are waiting to be sworn in. So you've got folks who are now. I mean, the taxation without representation, that's happening right there, but it's also happening in D.C. and has happened for a very long time. But, the fact that they're not stepping up to do the work.
No,
they aren't. They aren't stepping up to do the work.
And they're painting the Democrats as the ones behind all the, even on their own, which is against the Hatch Law, apparently. You're not allowed to politicize on government websites. You're not allowed to. But there's no guardrails. I mean, they're blaming the Democrats, and there's a whole bunch of people out there that go, yeah, it's the Democrats' fault. They're holding out. The Democrats are begging for a meeting, whether it's at the White House or on the floor, a meeting to try and negotiate. But they are presenting it in a whole different way. And as you said, the algorithms go out to people that are going to tell them exactly what they want to hear.
Mm-hmm. And who is in charge of those algorithms? They're all these little tech bros who have just jumped on board in his pocket.
Yeah.
The people who are behind,
paying for
in
the
theory,
ballroom.
paying for the ballroom.
Mm-hmm. Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah. These are again, these are very strange and weird times.
Yes, they are. It's, I know people that are having, I've had many people tell me they can't sleep at night because of what's going on. Here in the world, in the country, and in our own city, we're seeing it firsthand. We have to hold on to those good thoughts we had last Saturday when we were at the No Kings March, when we were 350,000 strong, or 250 strong, I guess it was, 250,000, with not one single arrest. We were out there doing what we feel was what we could do, which is protest by our voices, by our bodies, en masse. And I think we need to have protests every couple of weeks. I think we need to be out there marching. I don't know what else we can do. But we have to keep pressing on these Republicans. They are the only ones right now that can make a difference when it comes to immediate change. And
the main one is Johnson.
Oh, he's just pathetic.
He's
a pathetic person. He really is.
And apparently he's also incredibly not well read. He, whenever asked about a question, he's like, well, I haven't read anything about that. I don't know. I need to know more information about this.
How dare you say that? Aren't you embarrassed? You're the Speaker of the House.
I know. And these are news stories that happen. And they're happening with people that you know. Oh, I know he's just dancing around and doing his whole thing.
He's a liar because guess what? The top guy is a liar. So lies are acceptable in the Republican Party.
It's very, very Christian.
Very Christian.
Of him to do all that. Lie. Be on Grindr, allegedly. See, this is what I want to... I am not for outing people. I really am like, people, they want to be as out as they want to be or not out as they want to be. That's fine. That is up to them. But if there are elected officials who are actively campaigning and passing policies that affect the LGBTQ community, their community, then I say just out them.
I say
just do it.
Absolutely.
That's what we need to do. We need to start playing a little bit more dirty with our politics, like the way that they've been doing things, and just call people out, expose their hypocrisy. And what have we got to lose? We don't have the House, we don't have the Senate, we don't have the White House, we don't have the Supreme Court.
I agree.
Call them out for their hypocrisy, and I don't know, hopefully that can get something done and get a fire lit under their butts. But that is not happening right now. And right now we are just having to sit and wait until they call them back to session.
Yeah.
And then release the Epstein files. Let's not forget about the Epstein files.
It's not.
Let's just do that.
Well, that's why we're not swearing in the representative from Arizona, because of the Epstein files. Pretty clear.
Yep. There we go. Anyway, but that's for another day. Why don't we take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to be chatting with the creative minds behind the Baldwin Giovanni Experience, Tim Rhoze and Bria Walker-Rhoze, after this break. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Where are they now with Art and Bobby?
Let's welcome our guest, Tony Zork. Good morning. Welcome to our show.
Bobby, good morning. So I eat one meal a day now.
Let me ask you, did the kids say, Dad, what are you doing to us?
They just blow me off. My daughters are 20, 18, and 15, so I am the stupidest person on the earth.
Tune into Where Are They Now, Saturdays at 10 a.m. on WCPT 820 a.m.
Hey, listen.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs.
I never really thought about tools until I bought a house in the suburbs. It's like this weird homeowner test if I need a tool for a project and don't have it. And my neighbor Ted loves to give me that look when I ask to borrow a pole saw. A year ago, I didn't even know pole saws existed. And now I gotta borrow one from Ted? What is happening?
Anyway, when you save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto, that's the easy part of adjusting to the suburbs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. The National Afro-American League, or the NAAL, was formed in 1887 by Timothy Thomas Fortune. Fortune sought to create one of the first all-black civil rights groups in the nation. Being born into slavery and seeing the rise of groups like the KKK, he felt as he needed to fight these injustices by giving a voice to those without one. He proposed the formation of this group in his editorials for the New York Age. He founded the group with the goal of combating suppression of voting rights and inequalities in black and white school funding, among other inequalities. For instance, many groups went about tackling lynching and Jim Crow laws, while other groups instead focused on swaying political opinion and gaining political power. The first national conference took place in Chicago in 1890, where they ratified the Constitution, committed to the fight for the rights of African Americans across the nation. After years of financial hardships, the NAAL split up in 1893. This wasn't the end of their fight by any means, though, as they sowed the seeds of change for future groups like the NAACP to come and change the world. Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
Welcome back. I'm Paul Oakley-Stovall. You're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, rolling along on this beautiful fall day, feeling inspired about, again, the opposite of war isn't peace, it's creation.
That's right.
And people are creating things out there every day. And Fleetwood-Jourdain Theatre is getting ready to open the world premiere of the Baldwin Giovanni Experience, an original theatrical production exploring the ideology and artistry of literary giants James Baldwin and Nikki Giovanni. And joining us now are the creative minds behind the project, Tim Rhoze and Bria Walker-Rhoze. Tim and Bria, welcome to the show.
Oh.
Good afternoon. Hey there.
Hello. Thank you. Tim, before we start talking about specifically the Baldwin Giovanni Experience, can you remind our listeners about the history and mission of Fleetwood-Jourdain?
Absolutely. Back in 1979, Northwestern University graduate Gloria Von Clooney created the Foster Community Theater, which was located in the 5th Ward of the Evanston community. From there, it became the Fleetwood-Jourdain Theater, became a theater located now at the Noyes Cultural Arts Center. And we make it our purpose to share Black experiences through plays and through special events like Kwanzaa and Martin Luther King Day celebration and Juneteenth as well. But we are a theater that embraces the talents of all designers and actors and writers and trying to give them a format no matter what their background is. But they're all welcome. And that's where we stand, and we're going to stand on that.
And we're glad that you're standing on that, too. Tim, I believe you joined us a couple of years ago. Has it already been a couple of years ago? When you were...
It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, when you were workshopping the Baldwin Giovanni Experience. What has the process been like? And I guess for both of you, both of you, sorry.
Yeah. No, and Bria, please, jump right on in. We're located in 2 different places so people know we're not sitting side by side.
Right.
Bria's in Pittsburgh. She's a professor at Carnegie Mellon, so she's in Pittsburgh, and I'm here in Evanston. So we're not sitting side by side. So, Mama, just jump in whatever you want to.
Okay.
No, go ahead. So, the whole idea of experimenting with this concept in 2023, there was some elements that we didn't have an opportunity to explore from that specific conversation. And so we want to bring some of those elements into play, add some more music and more choreography to it. We're bringing back the same 2 actors, the same design team, lighting, set building, and all those sorts of things. The same muralist as Charlotte Beverly. So yeah, it's revisiting what we did before and reimagining that iconic conversation that took place in 1971 on that show, that great show called Soul that was on PBS. Yeah.
Why do you think that the conversation that Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin had in 1971 still resonates so much today?
I think despite a lot of the fights and conversations that they were having then, we're unfortunately still having now. They touch on a lot of different topics, teaching, writing, socioeconomics, politics, systematic racism. That's just so ingrained in our society. And I think mainly with systematic racism being so woven into the fabric of our day-to-day, it can be really hard to untangle that. You know, that takes time. It took so long to get it going. It's going to take a long time to undo that. And so I think we as a nation, a lot of us are trying to undo that brutality and that cruelty. And some things are just taught that need to be untaught. And I think that takes time, you know. It was only 1971 they had the conversation.
Right, it's that important element of like recognizing the history and learning from that and then doing better. You know, a lot of what they talked about were like prophecies, what we're seeing today, the very thing that's unfolding before our face every day now. That was part of their conversation back then, right?
Yeah.
But they were also, within that conversation, they were also, and I think that's a topic today, particularly for black men, Nikki Giovanni was about holding black men's feet to the fire, right? And so that was one of those strong conversations they were having. So it was not strictly targeted toward race and race relations, and or the so-called race problem, right? Or that, but it really does the things that they've covered. The things that they have covered really resonate today on many levels.
Yeah, 100%. If you have the opportunity, go and find Soul to watch the discussion between these two just literary giants and just incredibly smart people. Yeah, like it's kind of like, oh my God, I need to catch up with you, just because you're thinking so fast. So absolutely, yes. So Bria, what have been some of the challenges of taking something that is so cerebral and so, I don't want to say esoteric, because the things that those two giants are talking about, as we have discussed, is very real and very present. It was present in the 70s. It's still present now. What's going on? What have been your challenges of taking something that is just such so big and turning it into a theatrical experience? Because it's basically a discussion between two people.
Yeah, and I think as creatives, for both Tim and I, it's taking what they say, and then what are we inspired by?
Yeah,
and and kind of reframing it and not looking at it as challenges, but opportunities to theatricalize thoughts and ideas and words that they've said. And so idea they may be riffing on and talking about, what does that mean within choreography? What does that mean within sound? What does that mean? They talk about a topic, and then what if we expand on that and are inspired by other interviews that they've had? So it's been an inspiration to be able to take it and see how can it be embodied, how can it be alive in front of us.
Is there one line or moment that personally moves you every time you hear it?
It changes every time you do it.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, he certainly evokes that line of "I am not your Negro," right? So that's in there, right? And everybody knows that, right? That's on that's at the top 10 of what do you remember about Baldwin? What did he say? But each time we do this in rehearsal, and we're now in tech for the show, and every time Bria and I get to go in and look at the script a little bit more, and I hope to enhance it even more, you find new things to just make you feel like you're really doing something as a writer.
Yeah.
You know? And using them as the inspiration. The inspiration of Baldwin and Giovanni, like you said. And the more that you get into each of them, now that I've had opportunities to really delve myself into Baldwin and Giovanni, your excitement about it is how I am too. You know?
How about you, Bria? Have there been moments that have been discoveries for you in terms of like, whoa, that hit hard?
I think a big discovery is learning about Baldwin. I always knew his relationship with the church and how complex that was. But delving into his background more, just how deep it was, and how he felt connected with it, but not. That always resonated with me. And a new thing, delving into the script, is learning about Nikki Giovanni's background with the church as well. So both of them, their relationships. Yeah.
And two different experiences, right? Different experiences. Baldwin's experience in the church wasn't very pleasant. You know, he was a boy preacher, and then he was thought to go into the ministry as his stepfather was, his abusive stepfather, actually, right? And Nikki Giovanni back in Knoxville, Tennessee, would go to church with her grandmother and her grandfather, and it was a place of joy for her growing up. Two different experiences in the church, and we do explore that in this piece.
If Giovanni and Baldwin could see this production today, what do you think they'd think or say?
I think they think it was pretty cool.
Yes, I'm sure.
I think they, it's their words and their lives in this conversation reimagined. I think they would really dig it. I think they would love to see how we correlate what they said with today. I think they would like it.
I'm sure they would.
It's a great question because I have thought of that often, and and I hope that what we've done is something that they would approve of, right?
I'm guessing they would.
They were both, they were both very honest people. And of course, Baldwin was probably better known for being an essayist than he was a novelist, right?
Yeah.
And so his critique of works, and those works generally of other black literary giants, right? Richard Wright, Langston Hughes. So it would be interesting to sit down and say, hey, what did you think of this piece? Right?
Yeah. Well, this is this kind of devised work is one of my favorite things to go and be. It feels participatory as an audience member. You feel because you are taking the actual words of these, again, literary giants, incredible thinkers, incredible debaters too. Like they will hold each other, take each other to task, and then taking those moments and letting those be an artistic springboard for the two of you to say, well, how can we explore this idea? Is it through movement, or is it through a song that is inspired from the found text, the actual words of these human beings? There's something so for me, as an artist, as an audience member, as a creative person, that I love the idea of everything just kind of cracking open based on these nuggets of truth that are coming out of these folks' brains.
Yeah.
You have hit the nail on the head, my friend.
Yeah.
And it's been a privilege. It's been a privilege and an honor. And I can never emphasize enough how wonderful it is to work with your partner. You know, you can never take that for granted because those moments can be taken away from you at any moment. And so, married for 3 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
September the 10th of this year. So being able to collaborate with my wife on this has just been really a miracle.
You're very lucky, both of you.
We are very blessed. It's been wonderful, throwing things together and playing with things and like riffing off stuff. It's been great.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
what?
That's one. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's almost like writing as one.
Yeah.
The process is really. I don't know if it's unique or not because I really haven't had conversations with other couples who have collaborated this way. But the script is always developing as if we are writing as one. Although she's writing on her side and I'm writing on my side.
Mm-hmm.
And it all just sort of
thank God for modern technology,
right? Well, and that's
for real.
100%. And that's also one of the cool things about. The artistic spirit, as we grow older, we lose the ability to play. And that is what it feels like the Baldwin Giovanni Experience has been born out of, a true sense of play, exploring these very big themes and topics, and how wonderful to have that gift to be able to do that with your partner, and to have an incredible artistic collaborators with you, with your two actors who are going through this. Bria, I can't believe, are you going to be out of town for tech?
I mean, I said modern technology. Zoom.
She'll be there. She'll be there.
Yeah, we have the camera set up in the theater. We have the camera set up in the theater, so she's in rehearsal with us, even though she's not in space.
Amazing.
Beauty of modern technology, as you said earlier.
Right.
Indeed.
So,
and you're absolutely right. This is the theater of, you have different genres, right? We get that, drama, comedy. It's like the theater of what if.
Mm-hmm.
What if?
Right.
Right? And that magical what if is what's happening on stage with this piece with Sean Blake, who's doing the James Baldwin, and Rachel Blake, who's doing Nikki Giovanni. Just two wonderful artists in their own right. Sean just finished The Color Purple at the Goodman Theater, as a matter of fact. And Rachel is just a worldwide traveler. She's an entrepreneur as well as an actor. So we're very fortunate to have the great design team. David Goodman Edberg is our lighting designer. And Rick Sims is our sound designer. And Ethan Courtney, the original composer of the music that we started back in 2023 and has been brought over to this world premiere.
I love it. Look, I had the opportunity to work with Sean Blake years ago, and what an incredible guy. Just an incredible, a great guy and a great artist.
A quick question. I see that Nikki passed away last year. Did you have a chance to collaborate with her much?
No. I know, December 9th of 2024, she passed away, and it was our dream, obviously, because Baldwin passed away some time ago,
right?
Like 87 or something. But it was the dream to bring this piece back and to reach out to her then, right?
Yeah.
This is a lesson in don't delay.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? If something hits you, do it. Do it now.
100%.
Words to live by.
So Bria, when folks come to see the Baldwin Giovanni Experience presented by Fleetwood-Jourdain, what do you hope they leave with?
Oh, what do I hope they leave with?
I laughed because we said that's gonna be one of the questions you watched.
We did. I mean, first of all, right? We want folks to have a good time. have a good time. They're going to have a good time. We also have wonderful music in the show as well. I also would love folks to learn something about each of them, maybe that they didn't know before. We had a wonderful, during tech, we had a wonderful moment where our sound designer commented on, oh, I didn't know this piece of information about him until I saw the show. Like, that's, to me, a gift and really interesting, because their lives, their work and their lives need to resonate forever. So I hope people learn even more about them, that they are entertained, and that their minds might be open to something new. You know, that's it for me.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, it sounds like, to riff on what Tim was saying earlier, it sounds like the great what if, that if you, when you go to, hopefully, and you will learn a little bit about the actual experiences in their lives and their work, but taking away, like, what if we did things differently? What if we, you know, having that as a launching point. I can't think of a better way for resistance. I can't think of a better way to refill the well, because we all need to make sure that we're taking time and being entertained and being enjoying things, but also being inspired by words that happened 50 years ago that are still so relevant today.
Yeah.
Right. And I think maybe the most important one coming from Baldwin is that, to sum all of that up, is that our only obligation going through life is love. Right?
Amen to that. Amen to that.
That's what you owe, and that's what you owe.
Well, look, like I said, if you want to find inspiration for resistance, for resetting, refilling the well, make sure you check out the Baldwin Giovanni Experience. It is the world premiere presented by Fleetwood-Jourdain Theatre. It opens on November 2nd and runs through the 16th at the Noise Cultural Arts Center in Evanston. For tickets and for information about the project and about the amazing work that Fleetwood-Jourdain does, go to fjtheater.com, and that's theater spelled with an R-E because they're fancy that way. Tim Rhoze and Bria Walker-Rhoze break all the legs as you are going through tech and getting towards opening. And thank you for putting this work out there. It is something that I think the world needs right now.
It is our pleasure.
And thank you for the opportunity to share our story.
Thank you both very much. We're looking forward. Thank you.
Break legs and happy opening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of this day. We are going to have to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the final thrilling show-stopping moments about Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath, Saturdays at 1 p.m.
We don't expect the Trump administration and their body-armored thugs to come with warrants and unmasked and carrying identification and acting with the dignity of a government that pursues justice. We expect what we've seen everywhere: brute force, coercion, and the destruction of trust. We will not bring violence. Neither will we shrink from violence brought to us.
The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath, Saturdays at 1 p.m.
Fall is here and colder nights are on the way. Is your home ready to stay warm and energy efficient? Green Attic is Chicagoland's trusted expert in attic insulation, spray foam, crawl space encapsulation, and mold remediation, solutions that seal in comfort and cut down on high heating bills. If your upstairs feels drafty or your heating system is constantly running, your attic may be to blame. Their team helps balance temperatures and reduce energy waste from the top down. They also offer full-service roofing through Green Attic Roofing, covering asphalt shingles, flat roofs, premium roofing solutions, and solar panels. Every project comes with a 10-year labor warranty and instant online estimates to help homeowners replace aging roofs before winter sets in. With over 15 years of experience and over 1,000 five-star reviews, Green Attic delivers real comfort season after season. Visit greenattic.com for a free insulation consultation or go to greenatticroofing.com for an instant roofing estimate today.
Experience 2 iconic operas in one unforgettable night at Lyric Opera of Chicago.
Cavalleria Rusticana and Pagliacci, November 1st to 23rd. Don't miss world-renowned tenor Russell Thomas as the tormented clown in Pagliacci, in an operatic pairing where passion, betrayal, and raw emotion take center stage. Just 8 performances. Tickets at lyricopera.org.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Hey, this is Mark Patton, and I'm from Spring Clean, My Nightmare on Elm Street, and you're listening to Out Chicago.
Welcome back to Out Chicago with Scott Duff here and Ellen Miller, rolling along here. Hey, I just want to remind everybody out there that you can now listen to, rate, and share the Out Chicago full episodes and featured interview podcasts. They're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Amazon Music. All you got to do is search Out Chicago or get the links on our show page by visiting heartlandsignal.com and clicking on our lovely little mugs here. The latest additions to the featured interviews podcast are Mariel Kraft, who we were just talking about at the beginning of the show, Eileen Dixon, director and co-adapter of Red Twist Theater Chicago, queerly adapted from the play you've never heard of that inspired the musical you can't get away from, which is getting great reviews, by the way. Plus, today's interviews are going to be there soon. So go and check it out at heartlandsignal.com.
Relive the magic.
Relive all the magic. And I want to give thanks for people who are using the Credo mobile phone and text line. Hey, just a reminder, WCPT listeners can get 25% off for 2 years at Credo Mobile with the code WCPT25. Credo Mobile, a progressive phone company that is better for all people and the planet. Visit credomobile.com. And I do want to give a big old shout out to, we've been getting some texts. We got somebody texting in from North Carolina.
All right.
Yeah, who's a WCPT and out Chicago, has been a giant. Has been giant in my recovery of so much negative taught oppression. A giant over the years and my necessary church service. Thank you for your programming. It's hard. Heart, 100.
Thank you for listening.
Very sweet. Thank you so much for listening. It's, sometimes it's weird. We're just kind of talking into a void. It's great to know that people are tuning in.
Sure is.
Tuning in. Oh my gosh. So it's spooky season.
It is. It's certainly spooky out there.
Well, yeah.
A lot of reasons.
Yeah, a lot of reasons and everything.
But the fun spooky.
The fun spooky. Now, you're going to be traveling to Mexico this week.
Going to Isla Mujeres. It's our little home away from home. Kathy and I have not done much traveling in the last year and a half with our little pup Maggie that was sick. Kathy didn't want to leave her, and I left her on one trip because I had paid for it already to go on my blues cruise. But other than that, the two of us haven't been together for a week away anywhere. So we are doing that. About a couple months after my mom passed away in 2019, we ended up in Isla Mujeres during the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. And I can't, and Scott, I know you practice that is something you do anyway.
Oh, well, you've been doing it for 20 years.
And I was new to it. I knew about it, but I didn't practice it. And my knowledge of it grew leaps and bounds when we were in Mexico. And I can't tell you enough how I don't know how to describe it. Important it is to grieve in the way, I love the way that they grieve their dead. They remember their dead. We have a lot to grieve right now, both personally and as a community. There's grieving of what's going on in our country and to our fellow citizens, grieving the loss of my pup. There's all kinds of things. But in Mexico, it's a celebratory honoring of those things, of people that have passed. And it's just, I loved it so much. I said, I want to try and go every year. And I haven't been able to go every year for a bunch of reasons. But it is a beautiful, I'm looking forward to it. There are ofrendas that are set up in the town square. There's a program. There's the dancing. There's music.
It's the flower. There's so many flowers.
Flowers everywhere. The way they decorate the ofrendas. It's just a lovely time to be in Mexico. So I feel very blessed that we, have the time to do it. Scott, you've been kind to give me last minute blessings
of course.
take off for a couple of shows. We just really need to change the scenery. But we're heading down there to celebrate in the Mexican way. Celebrate Halloween and Dia de los Muertos.
And Dia de los Muertos is one of my favorite things, mostly because of the intentionality behind it. We set up an ofrenda, which is like an altar thing filled with pictures and objects that were our loved ones who are no longer here.
Their favorite things.
And it's really, Jerry and I have been doing this for at least 20 years.
How did it come about for you two?
Because Jerry also, when he was a younger person, he went to Mexico.
During Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, and he saw it, was like, this is great. So it's kind of been, he had been practicing it when we first got together. And so it kind of became, he's the one who introduced the idea to me, and we would do that. So we deck out with marigolds and pumpkins, and we have photographs of loved ones who have passed. We set out cufflinks, like my grandfather's cufflinks, and one of his like straight-edged razors. We set out their jewelry, but then we also leave little treats. My mom loved butterscotch candies. She loved
the ones in the yellow wrappers.
The ones in the yellow wrapper.
Well.
Yes, so we always leave out some butterscotch candies. We decorate with butterflies and little sugar skulls, and we leave weird things out, like for Jerry's professors who have passed. We always leave out a glass of scotch and a Pall Mall cigarette. That we put out.
You must have one you save, obviously.
No, we go and we buy them.
They still make them?
Yeah, we'll put them out there. If we can't find them, we'll just put like a cigarette there.
Yeah.
We go, we'll put out little treats. We do have this one returning tin of potted meat that always makes it, we're like, it stays in there.
It comes in handy for
something. I know, but I think we need to do better by our friends and ancestors, and we should probably get them some fresh potted meat.
Well, when in Mexico and Isla, there often is like pollo en mollo, in pole in mole, chicken mole in a casserole on the altar. I have to do everything I can to not
don't eat it.
grab a bite.
No, it's not for you.
No, I know. But they have the beer, as you said, they've got liquor, they've got food that they loved. They also open the cemetery, and there are candles in all of the grave sites are all above ground because of the we're in an island, and just you can see and walk around. They encourage you to walk around. It's just something that you can't even imagine until you're there experiencing it, and it is a wonderful way to remember.
It is, and one thing that one of the reasons why I love it, aside from just like the ritual, but literally, like when you set it up, you are holding a photograph of your mom or of your friend or whoever, and you share stories with your family or whoever with your partner who you are setting everything up. It was.
That's why I keep, why do you hold on to all your old stuff? Every couple of years, I grab old boxes of stuff from my whole childhood and youth, and I look at everything and I sit and have a memory and I put it back in the box and put it away. I mean, because otherwise I don't remember all these things. It's nice to jog your memory and actually feel the emotion that you can feel.
Yeah, and it's great. And it really is just sitting there with somebody, and being able to share stories. So, I don't know, I love it. Oh, look, our buddy Roosevelt is calling in to talk about Day of the Dead. Hey, Roosevelt, how you doing, my friend?
Guys, thank you for taking my call. You just touched on a subject that's very dear to me and to a lot of Mexican Americans. You were talking about mole de pollo, which is chicken mole.
Yeah, my favorite. Yeah, I love it.
And guys, the way I've seen it through the years, I'm 69, so it's a form of bringing back the dead, to be honest with you, the way I look at it. Because you're there, usually where they were buried, if you can. If not, you do it like a little shrine in their honor with their pictures, and, like you said, alcohol and their favorite dishes. And it's a form of sharing that time. It's like, in a way, the way I looked at it is like the way I've been looking at it all these decades is a form of bringing them back and sharing the time and honoring that time to them. It's basically it. Basically, you guys described it perfect. But
oh well, thank you, Roosevelt, because it's one of those things where I never want to come across as appropriating culture, because it is not my culture, but I do practice it, and I appreciate it. Thank you for appreciate.
No. There's no restrictions. Anybody can do this.
I know. That's why we're talking about it now, Roosevelt. Thank you so much for giving us a call. We always love hearing from you, buddy.
Thank you.
But so if spooky season isn't necessarily your thing, let's look for the day after, which is Dia de los Muertos. Take a moment to pause, reflect about what you've learned from your ancestors, what you've learned from your friends, what you've learned from those people who have passed, and welcome them back into your home and into your heart with a very full and fulsome way. And hopefully that will also help refill the well and help you continue to rest and resist and move forward.
Amen
with that. So, and with that, that's going to bring us to the end of another show today. I want to thank all of our guests. Chase Glenn, the Executive Director of GenderCool. Don't forget, they've got a benefit coming up on the 12th. You can go to gendercoolevents.org for that. I want to thank Tim Rhoze and Bria Walker-Rhoze from Fleetwood-Jourdain. And, of course, the one and only John Waters.
Wow.
Oh my God.
What a pleasure to have him on.
Amazing. I want cha-cha heels. Where are my cha-cha heels?
We'll find them.
Devin, thank you so much for making everything run smoothly. Paul, thank you for doing what you do. Ellen Miller, have a wonderful and safe trip.
Thank you. See you in a couple
May
weeks.
it be restful and restorative for you as
Thank you.
well.
Thank you very much.
And I'm Scott Duff, and until next week, stay proud.
The Sports Cubicle.
We have a two-time national champion head coach of the North